The headline says Tommy Robinson loses court bid to overturn ban from London protests. It's not quite like that, but the Evening Standard can't really say that he had any sort of a win at all, can they? I'm Granny Opterix. So it says here, Robinson has lost the court bid. He had a ban slapped on him that he couldn't come into London for any reason at all, except for appearing in court. And then at the bottom it said, the judge said Lennon's ban on entering the London area within the M25 would stay in place, but agreed to allow him to attend meetings as long as the visits were agreed in advance by the Met Police's Public Order Unit. So it hands the bucket back to the Met Police, who will probably abuse that particular power that they've been given. But it's not entirely a ban, is it? However, the Evening Standard don't want to say that there's any sort of an allowance made for him, and so they use the word lose. Now, he has lost mostly in effect, but technically it's not a loss, and that's important from a legal point of view. It might be very important some way down the line, so we have to be a little bit tolerant of this. The incident that caused this was Tommy Robinson turned up at a march organised for people who wanted to support Israel. There were, I think, over 100,000 people at the march, and there are only 200 and something Jews in the whole country, and that includes little babies, the elderly, so the fact that there were 100,000 people there means that most of them were not Jewish, probably, but they wanted to support Israel. And, that's really very impressive. It means that it's not just a Jewish thing. Tommy Robinson turned up as a reporter. The interesting thing about it was that the guy who one of the men who organised the whole march said he didn't want Tommy Robinson there, and I think the police were probably acting on his say-so, but he would have had the backing of the other organisers as well, of course. I just happen to know of one. But the people who were there on the march, when they saw him being arrested, they voiced their disapproval of that. They wanted him there. They didn't mind him there at all. And I'm interrupting myself here to remind you to click like, to subscribe and to share. And if you're on YouTube, remember to click the notification bell. All the links to my other channels are in the description, including links to donation sites. I'm always grateful for donations, of course, but just clicking like is the best thing you can do for this video and my channel generally. And I'm reminding you that the Christmas 2023 competition is now open. The link to the video telling you all about it is also in the description. And so we have a disconnect here between the organisers of the march and the actual people on the ground. And that is a reflection of everything that's happened with Tommy Robinson since he left the EDL and started just speaking out against certain things and certain people who are taking advantage of British law in a most dishonourable way, I'd say. But it's interesting how the people on the ground are with him, and the organisers, even if they came up from the ground, as soon as they become organisers, they seem to lose interest in Tommy Robinson altogether. So it says here, organisers of the march, which followed the Hamas terror attack on October the 7th, had said they did not want Robinson at the event. According to his police bail, he's banned from entering London unless he's meeting with solicitors or attending court. So you can see the outcome of this was that he could come into London to attend meetings if it was agreed in advance by the Met Police's Public Order Unit. Again, I say I don't expect the Met Police to be at all sympathetic to this, but it does have a legal precedent that might be good for him at some point in the future. So, Westminster Magistrates Court on Monday, Lennon argued his human rights are being infringed by the bail conditions and insisted he should be allowed into the city to attend protests. District Judge Michael Snow rejected the application, citing fears of further offences being committed. But you see, and here I'm going to talk about District Judge Michael Snow in a minute. What further offences are they? I mean, you know that thing in Alice in Wonderland, the Mad Hatter's Tea Party, and he says something, what is it? The Mad Hatter says, have some more wine. And Alice says, well, I can't have some more wine. I haven't had any yet. And it looks like there's further offences belongs in that have some more wine category. But agreed Lennon should travel to London for pre-arranged meetings with political groups and media organisations, provided police officers agree the visits in advance. As I said, yeah, don't hold your breath. So this is what the judge said. I know who Mr. Lennon is, said the judge. I know he has a particular view of matters and protests arising from what's occurring in Israel and within the Middle East. Well, I should hope he does. I don't see that that's anything to boast about, but it sounds a little ominous somehow. He said Lennon showed significant hostility to the police on the day of the protest. Now, Judge Michael Snow has lost me. Because, well, what I saw, he didn't show any hostility at all, let alone significant hostility. He's got a big mouth, but he's not a hostile one. And there was a clear risk of disorder arising. Yep, I'm still lost, Your Honour. The judge concluded bail conditions were needed in Lennon's case, saying protests which have taken place in relation to the ongoing situation in the Middle East are continuing, and it's likely, therefore, that Mr. Lennon will wish to attend those protests. He has shown no wish to attend the pro-Hamas ones. He just wanted to, frankly, I think he wanted to show his solidarity with the pro-Israel march. But he went there technically as a journalist. Well, you know, you can do that. And he is a journalist. Right. I'm satisfied because of the behaviour exhibited. What the only behaviour I saw exhibited that showed any sign of being bad for public order was the behaviour of the police, spraying CS gas or pepper spray directly into his face while they had him already arrested and disabled in some way. On the basis of the allegations of the police statement. Oh, yes, and police statements are always 100% honest. Well, aren't they? We all know that. You can always rely on the police. As a matter of fact, this isn't new. I don't know whether any of you ever heard of a music hall song that... I've no idea of the rest of the song, but the first line goes, if you want to know the time, ask a policeman. And the reason for that song, and this is a 19th century song, was because the police had been implicated in stealing the timepieces of people they'd arrested. And the reason it came to light was because they were arresting young men of middle-class types and everything. They were just arresting them at random. And then these young men would suddenly discover that when the police had said, oh, sorry, we thought you were up to no good and go on your way. And then they discovered their watches were missing. Because watches at that time were the Cray computers of the 19th century, weren't they? So the police have always been in that position of some being very dishonest, let's put it that way. And unfortunately, that seems to be even more now than it was then. Although, you know, we may be looking at the past through rose-tinted glasses. Okay, so again, there's right at the bottom. So you see here, and this is another thing. Tommy Robinson loses court bid to overturn ban from London protests. So loses, he's in the wrong, he's been criminalised again, he's a terrible man. And then right at the bottom, Lennon's ban on entering the London area within the M25 would stay in place, but he could attend meetings as long as the visits were agreed in advance by the Met Police's Public Order Unit. And instead of the Standard saying, we have somebody here who's a journalist and now his freedom of movement has to go through the Met Police's Public Order Unit first. All they're saying is this terrible man loses court bid. I'd say there's something wrong with that, wouldn't you? Okay, till next time. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the Graniopteryx design or Grambo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.graniopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share.